So hello Mayank, I've called you for an interview today about the TNP portal. I've told you about it. So first let's introduce you.
I am Mayank Kumar, a third year undergraduate from IT Delhi in the CS department. So,
So, so about this, have you used the TNP portal?
yeah,
Of course you have used.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to take your views on the TNP portal and the usability and design some corrections and all that.
Okay.
So when did you first use the portal?
I first used the portal in the third year, means in the fifth semester for applying for internships. So my experience was quite well, I guess.
Okay, your experience. Can you elaborate on that?
So for the internship process, there were many companies, and we were given the profile of each company that we could apply to, and all those which were present and were applicable to take internship opportunities in IIT Delhi. So it was quite an easy process. We just had to view all the profiles and then just select the company you want to appear in, and then give all the online tests or whatever the process was. And once you get selected, you get a notification on the TNP portal that you got selected for the internship.
Okay, so you got the notification. That's right. Okay, so where did you get your training?
What happened to me was I didn't know that the results for the company were out. So after the interview, I just randomly opened it before sleeping, and I thought that let's check whether the results are out or not, just in case. And when I when I opened the page, it displayed that you have been selected by this and this company.
Okay. So what I'm noticing here is that you are from the Department of Computer Science.
Yeah.
So in our BTech in Computer Science, you guys have your intern sorted in your first day. So how was your that experience, like interns and all that? Can you just?
Yeah, so to be honest, my CGA is not so good, so I was not shortlisted for many companies in the initial processes. I was only selected by one company as far as I remember in day 1 and day 2, and I got rejected by that too in the interview processes. So I finally got my intern after 2 months, which was approximately, I guess, day 5 or day 6. So I had to give several online tests, and all those processes were going on. Once I even had to do online tests from 11 in the morning to 11 in the night with only 1 hour of gap for lunch. So yeah, that was quite hectic as far as I remember. But after I got selected for an intern, I think that was really fun for me.
Okay, that your struggle part was fun for you.
Yeah, means I got something to learn from it.
Okay. So regular tests and all that, that's the special pressure you have in computer science. Okay. So moving on to the home page of this TNP. So have you visited the home page actually without the login?
Yeah, I have.
So your experience?
I didn't look at it much, but yeah, I just saw that there's 3 different login portals, one for the faculty, student, and the companies. And I just visited it once or twice, so I don't remember much. So
I'm getting an idea that you haven't interacted with the portal for a long time, because you just got it done on the second day. After it's switched off, right?
Yeah, after that you cannot log in into the site, so I wasn't able to.
So on that CV, the first process, you know about the CV making. So you made your CV.
Yeah.
So how was your experience and the things that you liked and you didn't like?
One of the things I liked was that the CV making procedure was quite easy. You just had to upload your documents for verification of each point you added, and you can add as many points as you want unless and until the page is not full. The problem is that after 2 pages, it doesn't take more inputs. Means you cannot add everything that you have done. So one of the features that I would like to add is that you should create extra pages for extra points that you want to show in your CV. For example, I was only able to show one of my interns and 2 projects as far as I remember, but I had done several other projects which were quite useful for me, and I think that that should have been noticed by the interviewers and other companies, but as the limit was reached, I couldn't add them. And other one was that you can't add more points after the deadline has ended. Means that's quite strange because you always get more CV points to add after the deadline has passed. There might be some ongoing assignments or projects that you are involved in. Even though you can set a hard deadline that yeah, this is the hard deadline for which the company will see your CV, and if you want to update it you can, but it will not be verified by the institute. That's okay, but you must have that option, that freedom to add new points anytime.
Okay. So you have talked about this adding after the deadline. So this is a process many people have coined, like this should be done. This is a nice thing that you mentioned. So moving on, did you have any like frustrations from portal and then format that the CV making had?
I mean, sometimes, for example, there were sometimes that the shortlists that came were only available on the TNP notification, and sometimes you didn't get the notification that you got shortlisted. So it was there was no other way to know whether you got shortlisted or not. The only way is to log in and check whether you are shortlisted or not. So I think that should be updated. Means you can get a mail or something other than that if you are not using an app, obviously. So that should be updated, I guess.
Okay, so you're saying that we should have a
Mailing procedure.
mail
Yeah.
procedure or some special notification for the guys who got shortlisted.
Yeah.
Okay, nice one. So moving on, like apart from this CV making and all that, the ones I interact with, people I interact with in the campus, they're not usually CS guys. So what is the culture of CV making and applying to the internship in your department, like what your seniors tell you and what you do?
So our seniors regularly told us to keep our CG good, and that's obviously one of the main points in the CV. So apart from that, since many seniors have told us that there are certain points like PORs which are not so important in our department, means they don't actually see what sports you are involved in or what PORs you have held before. They are just interested in what are you good at, what is your natural talent in, and what they can use from you. They don't really think much about what your hobbies are or stuff like that. So our CV was mainly filled with every project we have done, the major assignments that we got, which were quite useful and entertaining. So that was most of the part, I guess.
So about that PR thing, so are you involved in sports and all that?
Yeah, I am involved in sports. I personally like football very much, and I also play some indoor games like table tennis and all. And I have also been involved in the FAC club, which is for fine arts.
Okay, so you have this interaction, and are you frustrated about that it's not counted in the CV?
To some extent, yeah, obviously, because for example, I love football, means I'm just crazy about it sometimes. So it's quite frustrating that you can't add that that point, and in the companies don't really care whether you play football or not. Means what they're interested in is only your technical abilities and not the non-scholastic activities at all.
So can you? I want to know about this because it's going well.
So yeah, means
You
I
are in the
participated
hostel
in,
team.
yeah, I participated in the inter-hostel in the first and second year both, and I hope to participate in the third year too, but the third year was quite hectic, so I couldn't. So I really like to add that point, but since the assignments and project parts is too much, I can't really add this point. And since I know and know by the seniors obviously that these points don't really matter in your CV if you are from CS department and going into the core. So yeah, it's quite bad that you can't add such a point which quite a few people can claim.
So you still play football?
Yeah, I
So
still
what keeps you on that?
I don't
Like
know.
people who don't do stuff here, they love. Usually they do it for the CV.
I mean, I don't know. I just have that thing that yeah, I want to play this game.
Okay.
I'm really interested in it. So.
Nice. Well, this is a good thing. So moving on, this second part that comes is applying for the companies. So you applied for the, how many companies did you apply to? Remember?
As far as I remember, it was more than 25.
So you have a selection algorithm like
Yeah,
where
means-
you gonna apply
Yeah.
your CG and all that. So where did you came to know about that and how it all went?
Firstly, I asked my seniors what I should do. So they told me to sort out your priorities and choose from two options. One was stipend, and the other was the company status. Means what's the position of the company in the overall market in the global world, or how much the company is willing to pay you. So the third point which I realized from myself was, which is actually important, is the job location. Means you obviously want that the job location is very good. You get all the facilities that you want. So the most of the companies that I actually applied to were well-known companies beforehand, but also some which were giving quite a good stipend. That was my second priority, and obviously the job location mattered to me as well.
Okay, so talking about the company status that you told, I don't think so that looking at the portal and application form, that part, we don't come to know about the status on the first hand. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, so I took advice from my colleagues and my seniors, and also I Google searched all the companies that I was going to apply to, and they helped me sort out the order in which I should actually apply to the company and what their actual status is to some extent.
So how was your experience during the application? Like you had some expectations from companies and you wanted that, and what were the big problems that you faced that you could. So what I'm gonna ask you next is not involved in the like technical process of the website. So I'm gonna discuss, if you wanna discuss about the like training culture we have in our college overall. So what are your comments on that?
It means there's quite some weird training cultures, I think, going on, because firstly, whatever knowledge we have about applying for internships or jobs or anything else always comes from the seniors. Means what we think are the experienced seniors who have already got some interns or jobs. So mostly we are influenced by them. They always say that maintain your CG, means look for some good companies and stuff like that. You can only ask them about technical things. Means you don't actually know how the environment of the company is. Means you can't compare two people's opinions about the same environment, because they both will feel that the same environment is quite different. So talking about different companies is a totally different thing. So you can't take opinions and you can't decide which kind of environment you like, because you don't actually know. And different people will explain it in different ways. So you have to decide it by yourself. Apart from that, everyone tells you that fill your CV as much as you can. Means you have got a 2-page CV area and you have to fill it as much as you can. Don't leave spaces, don't put interlines if not needed, and make it show like each line is filled completely. Means this is quite weird, because the company is not interested in seeing a whole Word document there. Means what they're interested in is to pinpoint what you are good at, what you are not good at, and then determine whether they want to take you or not on the basis of CV. That's the main purpose of the CV. But that culture here is quite weird, I think. So I personally didn't follow that culture, to be honest, because as I told you, I believe that pinpointing your pros and cons is very important for the company, so that they know whether you are eligible for that company or not. So what I did was just write down the points that I think were important. Apart from that, people have other strange concepts like, for example, in CS department, they say there are only two things that can get you an intern. One is if you are good at comp coding, or other you are good at machine learning. But what about those who are not interested in either of these two? Means they don't actually get much what do you say things to choose. What if someone is interested in research intern in something else? And one thing is that the companies are sorry, in the there's only an industrial intern that's allowed in TNP. Means you never see that the TNP has collaborated with some university and you can go for research intern there. Means that's not even an option. I think that's something that the TNP should focus on, because in the present time there's much money invested and there's much scope in research apart from the normal industrial interns. And many people have their common notion that after doing my undergraduate from IIT Delhi, I will be going to some foreign countries for MS or some higher studies or do some research. But that's not much means that not promoted as much, I should say, by the TNP. So I think that's something that should be added here. I think that's okay.
So you have mentioned a very good point, but you haven't realized like you had your intern sorted, so you weren't opening the portal. So we had this Harvard intern, research intern that came in, but that was only for biotech and chemical. So can you elaborate on the fields that are people going in research in CS like?
Okay, so to be honest, I don't really know much about all the research areas in computer science department, but some of them are like machine learning. People are just crazy about this machine learning stuff. I mean, they think that everything related to AI is nothing but deep learning and machine learning. So invest as much as you can, go into this as much as you can. Means you have to be a jack of all trades, but be the king of this particular stuff. And I don't think that's the case. Means there's much more things in AI apart from machine learning. So there's also some different things like web development. People, as you might have seen, that companies now hire full stack developers, which is, to be on the technical terms, they want somebody who can actually do the back end and the front end job both. So that kind of thing is not much promoted here, because I don't know why, but I didn't find much courses or any such mentorships that promote you to go into all these things and have your own research and get to know something new. You have to do it on your own. You have to do it without anyone's help. There's nobody to advise you on that either. Obviously, you can take help from your friends and seniors, but I haven't seen any professor being involved in all these things. So I guess professors should also promote these research type of things, because India, as far as I think, has a huge potential for research also. There's a huge talent, there's a huge amount of talent in people here, and also the population is the second highest in the world. So you always expect that something good is going to come out from this country. But since people are only going into industrial jobs because there's no culture of doing research, I think that should be changed quite a lot. The professors should personally open up more projects and research areas in which and provide them to students, so that they can actually start doing all these research stuff from the very beginning in the UG itself. Because after UG, you may have seen that most of the people go for industrial jobs. They don't go into research interns, or into research. But there's a huge scope in that too. So I think that's something that the professors and the institution should focus on, and the students will also get to know what the thing is in that particular field. They only know about the industrial areas. They don't know about the different professors' backgrounds and what they have done yet. They only get to know it after doing higher studies, for example, MTech and PhD. So that's something that the institute should focus on.
So you mentioned about the research part that is not a brought up culture here. So do you have any plans of like what is your plans after moving out of the UG?
My plans are quite unclear, because I haven't thought far future, but I think I won't be doing any job at most after reaching the age of 40.
Oh.
I want to be free. I want to enjoy my life. Till 40s it's okay because it's your youth. This is the time you can enjoy and be productive for everyone, for the company, for your family, for everybody around you. So yeah, I will do the job after
So
UG.
you are a job guy.
Sort
That's
of,
right.
yeah.
But you
So-
that's a good thing that you are a job guy and you appreciate the research culture. So you don't have any like big plans of you'll shift to research and all that.
Not
Any
really.
interest?
Not really. Means it's like I will do some job. Then maybe I will decide whether I should go for higher studies or not. If I am interested in, then I will. If I am not, I won't. So the thing is, you must do what you like. You shouldn't think about yeah, I should do this because this might benefit me in the future. You don't have to always think about your future. Once you get settled, just keep calm, think what you have to do, and do something that really makes you happy. Means don't lead a life regretting that yeah, I should have done something else at that point of time. So that's what my ideology is. Always live your life to the fullest. So yeah, I'm not that research kind of guy. So I will take up a job after IIT, and if I ever feel the need or I think that yeah, research might help me or I might get interested in it, then I will take up those.
So it was nice talking to you. Let's hope you get you what you want.
Thank you.